Welcome back. Welcome to the ninth day of September. Welcome to summer like temperatures. The sizzle is back. It's going to be hot. It was hot out there today. Not as much as tomorrow. We're going to see the hottest day of the forecast tomorrow, but we're going to see the 90s for the rest of your work week. And heat indices pushing close up to the mid and upper 90s. So keep that in mind. Be prepared. It's going to be warm and toasty for the next several days. Very, very slight shower chances throughout your forecast. A couple of 10% occasions, and that's about it. Maybe 20% on one occasion. But the heat is the story weather-wise for this week. The stories tonight, just to name a few of what we're already working on for the week. A motorcycle accident earlier this morning that resulted in a man being airlifted to a medical center and then placed in jail later in the afternoon. A Sagersville man arrested in Paintsville for discharging his weapon, firing several shots in the direction of several people. A Sagersville man charged with endangering the welfare of a minor for buying alcohol. Police responding to a scene of what was said to have been several people lying passed out drunk in a yard of a McGoffin County residence. And also a report that we will start tonight, one several years in the making. And you'll have to bear with me. We have spent the entire day going through several years worth of audits for the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department, which were made public as of earlier today. I'll get to that in just a few moments. Let's go ahead and go right now to our first headlines and the before mentioned arrest. First, however, I do have this just in. A Johnson County man has admitted in federal court, he did so late Friday afternoon, that he was part of a conspiracy to distribute over 500 grams of methamphetamine. 65-year-old Proctor Wayne Pennington Sr. pled guilty Friday to distribute 500 grams of meth and distribution of meth in federal court. He admitted that from October of 18 through this past April the 3rd, he conspired with others to distribute methamphetamine. According to his plea agreement, Pennington got the meth from a supplier in Louisville and then brought it to Johnson County and sold it and distributed it to others. Law enforcement seized methamphetamine on April the 3rd from Pennington. And of course, he was indicted later that same month. According to the plea agreement, Pennington has a previous federal drug felony conviction for conspiring to distribute oxycodone. And because of that prior serious drug felony conviction, he is subject to an enhanced sentence. He is scheduled to be sentenced on December the 16th of this year. He faces up to 15 years in prison with a maximum of life, as well as a maximum fine of $20 million because of those enhancements. However, any sentence is yet to be determined and will be imposed by the courts. A couple of things happening over the course of the weekend. We'll go back to Friday night. It was close to midnight that a Sagersville man was arrested in Paintsville for going to his car, getting his gun, firing off numerous shots in the direction of several others who fortunately were not hit or injured. At around 11 o'clock on Friday night in Paintsville, a Sagersville man was arrested for discharging a firearm and endangering the lives of others nearby. 25-year-old Charles W. Conley of Sagersville was jailed on account of wanton endangerment in the first degree and discharging a firearm over a public road. After Paintsville police say they got a complaint of shots fired on Upper Street, and after they got there, they spoke with several witnesses who saw the man fire the shots, and they found the vehicle that the shooter was supposed to be operating. They made contact with Conley, who was inside a nearby home. He stated that he had been drinking, and he went outside to his vehicle, got out his 9mm handgun, and fired several rounds in the direction or across Kentucky Route 321 toward a populated area where individuals were. No one was hit. It makes no mention of any injuries, but Conley was placed under arrest, read his rights, and then charged with wanton endangerment in the first, as I said, and discharging a firearm over a public road and taken to the Big Sandy jail. They also noted that being police, that in his vehicle they found several shell casings matching or close to his vehicle, matching the caliber of gun he had, as well as the description given to them by witnesses. And then later over the course of the weekend, on Saturday night, close to 10:30 or so, another Sagersville man was arrested, now facing 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor after police responded to a Jim Arnott Branch residence, a complaint coming into 911 or police about several people intoxicated lying in the front yard of a home. Late Saturday night, the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department responded to a complaint at the residence of 20-year-old Cortland McCoon on Jim Arnott Branch. The citation time of arrest for McCoon is sometime around 10:30 or so. The deputy in question was dispatched to a call of people lying in a yard of a residence or the McCoon residence and unresponsive under the influence of alcohol. The officer responding noted that one parent had already made contact with their child and had EMS to transport that child, a juvenile, to the Palby Hall Medical Center. Upon the deputy's arrival, he says he found 5 people, all intoxicated, 2 of which minors under the age of 18. 2 14-year-old juvenile males were at the residence. EMS transported another juvenile from the residence, and Cortland McCoon claimed to have purchased all the alcohol earlier that evening and was charged with 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a minor for the 2 juveniles. And earlier today, lifeguard, ambulance service, the Magoffin County Rescue Squad, and the Kentucky State Police all responded to a motorcycle accident on 460 West near the Magoffin-Morgan County line. They found a man there unresponsive at the time. He was life-flighted for suspected injuries, but then cleared and taken to jail by the state police. First personnel on the scene described the motorcyclist as still wearing a helmet, still in the ditch line, unresponsive, and not moving. They also noted that the motorcycle itself appeared to be cold and possibly had been lying there for quite some time, either no traffic going by at that time or possibly unnoticed by traffic as it was over and below the level of the roadway. Nevertheless, it was actually called into the Kentucky State Police as a possible fatality-related accident. EMS are to arrive on scene. Lifeguard ambulance service did package the individual and prepared to transport him to a landing zone established nearby. However, I'm told that upon getting to the landing zone or at some point close to, the motorcyclist did start to come to, became somewhat responsive, and was still complaining of injuries and was life-flighted to the Pikeville Medical Center. I have, though, in front of me court records which indicate that he was cleared at the Pikeville Medical Center, showing no broken bones or other serious or life-threatening injuries, and was arrested at that time by the Kentucky State Police, so far just on outstanding bench warrants. The operator of the motorcycle, said to be 43-year-old Randall E. Bain of Sagersville, who is still, or at last report a few moments ago, was lodged in the Big Sandy jail on those charges, while the accident investigation continues by Kentucky State Police from Post 9. We'll talk about the Magoffin County Sheriff's audits released today, years in the making, after these messages. Here's a little of what's new at Parkway Gun and Pawn. A big selection of hunting, bowie knives, some to use, some to collect, or both, starting as low as $14.99 a piece. Hey gamers, while they last, they just got in 2 PS4 Pro editions in perfect condition. And as new, still in the packaging, big flat screens at big discounts. A new selection of kitchen gear and appliances, and even a new in-the-box 30-gallon electric hot water heater. You never know what you're going to save on, but you're always going to save at Parkway Gun and Pawn. Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to ConleyTire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by. For huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424.
I'm Bill Tinker. I've spent the past 19 years defending insurance companies in car crashes, truck crashes, and slip and falls. Are you involved in a case like that? Is the insurance company giving you the runaround about your medical bills, your benefits, or your lost wages? Contact me at McFarland Tinker Law Office. With our combined experience of over 58 years, We're here ready to work for you.
At Sagersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sagersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sagersville National. Whether it's game time, family time, or any kind of fun or hungry time, it's always a perfect time for the party platter from your Sagersville Lee's famous recipe. 20 crispy buffalo wings, 20 hot and spicy wings, fried pickles, cheese sticks, jalapeno poppers, mini corn dogs, jumbo breast strips, and spicy jumbo dippers. It feeds a crowd for only $34.99, and you get $3 off if you call and order one at least a day ahead. It's party time at your Sagersville Lee's. This will be the first of what will be more than likely several reports, and I'll elaborate more in just a few moments on the reasons why, this being one of the reasons why, just the sheer amount of material. An audit has not been completed for the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department since 2014. Auditors have been working for the past several years to complete them, and they were just released by Kentucky State Auditor Mike Harmon's office earlier today and made public. I need to preface the following, however, with just a few things. Sheriff Carson Montgomery is actually in Louisville all this week through Friday. I messaged with him earlier at a sheriff's conference. We will be unable to speak to him until sometime after he returns. I also did place a call to Judge Executive Matt Wireman earlier today to weigh in on a couple of the items, of course, the McGoffin County Fiscal Court directly related to a lot of the findings. And he says he is still trying to digest all the information. He did give me a brief statement in regards to one of the findings. So we'll have more with those later. And we'll have much more in the Sagersville Independent this Thursday, is trying to summarize. We're talking about several audits. We have property tax audits from 14 and 15, gas and oil audits from 15 and 16, unmined coal audits from 13, 14, and 15, and then the 14, 15, and 16 year audits of the actual sheriff's office itself, their fee accounts, if you will. 2017 was also done by the auditors. That has yet to be released, but is forthcoming very soon, we are told. With that said, I will just literally, as I have today, gone through the 14 audit for the fee account, because a lot of these things actually are reoccurring. They come up in the following year's audits as well. But there were several findings that were found by the state auditor and their investigation, many citing that the sheriff did not oversee the daily operations of his office, which resulted in significant accounting deficiencies, to which the sheriff replied on one occasion saying, "These are 4-year-old errors that were previously made from a prior office manager. The majority of items listed have been corrected. For years, the staff has been replaced by employees who are competent and experienced. I feel the majority of these comments were personal opinions rather than factual statements." The audit goes on, this just for the year of 2014. The auditor says that his determination was that the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department had a deficit of $14,000, coming up $14,000 short in their fee account, saying the sheriff did not transfer gross payroll into the payroll account each pay period, and also that the sheriff did not pay withholdings, federal withholdings, state withholdings, or retirement withholdings to the appropriate agencies. As a result, the sheriff personally owes $14,011 to cover the deficit in that calendar year. They recommended that the sheriff deposit funds of that amount, more than $14,000, into the 2014 official bank account. In order to prevent this from reoccurring, they also recommended the sheriff close the payroll account and pay all payroll directly from the fee account. The withholdings were paid, as I understand it, but they were paid by the county, as the sheriff was not paying them for that year. Also, it found that the payroll revolving account had a deficit for the year of 2014. That deficit was $30,246. The sheriff's rebuttal was, in his comments, that no deficit exists. This deficit exists in numbers only, not actual funds. The sheriff was said to not maintain controls over fuel cards. In an example in 2014, a fuel card statement showed that the bookkeeper had a fuel card and had charged $9,551. That averages out to $183 a week for the bookkeeper charged in fuel only, and the deputy clerk's card had charged $7,512 for the calendar year, about $144 a week in fuel. It is said that the sheriff overcharged taxpayers for vehicle inspections. That one occurs in the next several year audits as well. Basically the same thing, saying that the sheriff was charging $10 for an on-site vehicle inspection and $20 when a certified inspector had to travel to the site of that vehicle, and as a result, taxpayers were actually overcharged $5 for vehicles inspected, not just in 2014, but for several years thereafter. That number is set by the state, and they were only supposed to charge $5 and $15. The sheriff assigned court security officers. The certified court security officers, the deputies who have court security detail or duties at the Justice Center, not the courthouse, but the Justice Center. That duty or responsibility falls on the Sheriff's Department to do the hiring of those deputies, the number of which is approved by the judges. He also turns in their time cards to the administrative office of the courts, and they reimburse him or pay him to pay those deputies. And in 2014 and also in several other years, the audit says that they determined that at least 2 certified workers, those deputies, worked in the sheriff's office, however, but was getting paid through the AOC as the sheriff's department was turning in timesheets for them as though they were doing all of their duties in the Justice Center for the administrative office of the court. The auditor saying the sheriff requested and received reimbursement from the AOC for time for those security officers who were not physically present in the Magoffin County Justice Center. State law says compensation shall be provided only for the actual time which the sheriff or other officer is ordered to be physically present in the courtroom or is ordered to be physically present to discharge a duty ordered by the chief circuit judge, district judge, or court of appeals. The sheriff's response to that is that AOC guidelines regarding the duties of those security officers clearly states that security officers are allowed to provide security services for the court within the immediate area of the courthouse, and the sheriff's office is within the immediate area of the courthouse. The comment from the sheriff also in rebuttal of those claims or findings says that employees are our employees, not just security officers. They are always offered extra work before it is offered to anyone outside the department. They have issued checks to security officers that have nothing to do with their administrative office of the court's pay. The other auditor had a detailed explanation given to her, but this auditor never asked. It only makes sense that any extra duties be given to the security officers. They only make $9 an hour, and they have mouths to feed and bills to pay. They should be allowed to pick up extra work whenever it's available. The sheriff saying this comment is being taken as a personal attack on his office and his staff. I've never before read an audit in which the auditor then replies thereafter they give the judge or the sheriff or anybody a chance to reply. But in this case, the auditor's office does on numerous occasions. This is one of them in which the auditor replies to that statement from the sheriff saying the auditor documented 2 security officer employees that had multiple instances of issuing receipts for various fees like car inspections, concealed carry permits, and accident reports. These receipts were made on days that they were issued a payroll check to be reimbursed by the AOC for their security officer duties. On those days, they say there was no record of another payroll check or a separate payroll check being issued by the sheriff's office for the additional work at the sheriff's office. This audit is based on evidence available and undergoes supervisory reviews to ensure the findings are accurate. A couple of other findings real quickly. The sheriff did not remit payroll withholding funds to proper agencies and incurred significant penalties and interest charges. This has been long known, as it's been public knowledge that I can recall coming out in several fiscal court meetings when the court would note that the sheriff had withheld, says the auditor, payments from employee payroll checks for FICA, retirement, federal, state, and local withholdings as required. However, the sheriff did not send those monies in those withholdings into those agencies. And as of the audit date, the sheriff's payroll account owes the Montgomery County Fiscal Court almost $18,000 for retirement funds and about $3,500 in occupational tax withholdings owed to the fiscal court as well. And their penalties and interest on that, nearly $20,000, is about $32,000 for just calendar year 2014, saying that penalties and interest have accrued for other calendar years as well, and the Sheriff's Department owes more than $58,000 due to the IRS. The Sheriff's response was, mistakes have been made but have since been corrected. No taxes are owed to either the federal or the state. Penalties are still owed. We've tried to pay them, but the magistrates of the fiscal court will not allow us to pay them. We have the money. We want to pay. Our hands are tied. The auditor's reply was, the funds are owed to the Montgomery County Fiscal Court. Penalties and interest incurred from late payment to the IRS are not allowable expenses of a fee account and cannot be paid from the remaining excess fees. Now, this was the one statement that I asked Judge Wireman to weigh in on, and he says that that issue, those back taxes and penalties, were never addressed at any time in the fiscal court meeting officially, and it does not believe the fiscal court or the judge that it is an allowable expense for the county to pay, and the fiscal court has no responsibility or liability to pay that. Lastly, I suppose the sheriff did not settle his 2012 fee account, some $58,000. The sheriff did not settle the 2012 fee account. Fee account owes excess of $69,000 to the fiscal court. The sheriff had cash totaling $58,000 in 2012, and he had another $10,000 coming in accounts receivable that could have been paid to the sheriff's, or rather to the Montgomery County Fiscal Court, money which was owed to the fiscal court from the sheriff's office. However, instead he took those monies, that $58,000, and then put it into a 2017 fee account instead of giving it to the county, and used it for other expenditures for his office. His response was, we are working diligently to correct that matter by the given date of 12/21. And there were several of those findings which do occur again in following years. There was, for example, in 2015, the sheriff did not present an annual settlement to the fiscal court of the excess fees as required by law of $22,000. There was also the sheriff not having internal controls over financial reporting. That continues as well. And in another case, the sheriff responded, this has been addressed and corrected. Staff have been replaced and experienced employees. Please note, this office does not think who prepares bank reconciliations should be of any concern of the state auditor. This sentence serves no purpose other than to demean and or belittle and embarrass the sheriff and his staff. The auditor replying, the sheriff assigns staff to conduct bank reconciliations or may conduct them himself. Segregation of duties requires that the person performing the reconciliation to be different than the person preparing and signing checks. This is a standard application of auditing principles common to all audits. Its purpose is to improve oversight, not to embarrass, belittle, or demean any individual or office. That is just 1 year. Some of those, as I said, recurring over. Some of them being corrected. Some of those excess fees, I believe, a portion of which, at least a few, have been paid by the sheriff's office. However, still a lot of findings, a great deal of findings, and that is one, essentially, of several audits. The tax audits we haven't even actually looked at as of yet. There will be a write-up in this week's edition of the Sagersville Independent, which I'll urge you to read, because there will be more time allowable, more space, if you will, and more of a summarization of all the audits. But that indeed, to the best of my representation, is what we have for you this evening. We'll also be talking with the sheriff and the judge and about any ramifications or corrections or anything of that nature at a later time. As of right now, the only other findings that we have, in addition to the $58,000 that he owes to the IRS, it can't be paid with taxpayer money, and by our math, there's about $256,000 that's not where it should be. Payroll, excess fees, other monies which appear to have been moved into various accounts, and then there's various accounts thereafter which auditors could not track or reconcile, and a lot of that money owed to Montgomery County Fiscal Court, a great deal of money owed over the course of several years to the fiscal court. I'll be right back.
I'm Dr. Jason Zimmerman at Highlands ARH, the healthcare system of Appalachia.
Your new IGA has fresh brewed coffees and delicious donuts made 7 days a week. Daily made breads piled high with any meat or cheese you can think of. And come and taste the salads, broccoli and cauliflower, cornbread, and their gourmet chicken salad made fresh right here. They've got fruit and vegetable and meat trays made with a little love, and celebrate anything with perfectly professionally made cakes. All fresh and ready for your next meal, party, or event at your Sagersville IGA, where it's a new day, place, and way to shop. Never seen what's inside the seasonal shop? You've never seen anything like it. And if you have seen what's inside the seasonal shop, you've never seen it like this. From all the styles of pillows, dishware, bedding, and wall hangings, it's full of beautiful home decor. And there are frames for anyone and any occasion. There are neat and unique ways to design and do it yourself. There are flowers too perfect to be real. And from expecting moms to newborns, toddlers, teens, and adults, the fashions and designs and jewelry are simply endless and always changing at Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop.
Appalachian Wireless has a question for you. Would you rather pay $650 or $66 for a smartphone? If you think this answer is simple, then the Appalachian Advantage plan is for you. Pay less upfront for today's hottest smartphones, and then pay just a few dollars more every month on the monthly bill. Many smartphones are $5 a month or less after you factor in the $20 discount from the Advantage plan, compared to the contract offering. Better service, bigger savings. That's today's Appalachian Wireless. Payment agreement required. See store for details.
From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sagersville. 349-8785. Big Sandy Healthcare and Hope Family Medical Center are proud to announce the newest addition to their staff and team of over 200 dedicated employees and medical professionals. Podiatrist Dr. Cheryl Stalder Cheney has joined Big Sandy Healthcare at the Hope Family Podiatry Center in Sagersville on Beriah Boulevard, just a couple of doors up from the Lee's Famous Recipe. For anything minor or serious foot or ankle related, Dr. Stalder Cheney is now accepting new patients at Hope Family Podiatry Center in Sagersville. Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold, and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville. All right, let's wrap it up with this segment. Still several items of business. Your community calendar. We have an obituary, I do believe, on the funeral service announcements for tonight, and then a hot one, weather-wise. A couple of reminders and announcements on this Monday's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. Don't forget, if you want to volunteer in any form or fashion in the McGoffin County schools, you have to attend the Parent Guardian Volunteer Training to do so, and there is one coming up this Thursday morning at 10 at North McGoffin Elementary. This is for any school. If you're volunteering at any school, this training is at North McGoffin this Thursday morning at 10. Don't forget the 23rd Annual United Way Golf Scramble is coming up this Friday at the Paintsville Golf Course. The register at 9 and the play starts at 10. First place pays $500. If you have any questions, call 791-9902. Remember, the United Way helps support McGoffin County Senior Citizens, McGoffin County Rescue Squad, and the Bishop Bible Mission Training Center. The class of 1969 is having their 50th reunion coming up on the 14th this weekend on your Saturday at 5 o'clock at the old Sagersville High School. You know where that is, behind the Board of Education. This Saturday at 5 for the class of 1969, celebrating 50 years. And they're celebrating moms and moms-to-be. If you're pregnant or if your baby's under 2 months, you are invited to a free community baby shower at the McGoffin County Health Department. This is going to be the 18th. This is going to be, of course, next Wednesday. And it is free, but you need to pre-register for an incentive. They're going to have lunch and a dessert provided, more information, but you have to register to qualify for the incentive. Call 889-0328 to do so. You can also get more information by calling the McGoffin County Health Department. And the DAV, Chapter 15 of Sayersville, is having their regular meeting. Now, this is coming up on October the 3rd. I'll remind you about it when it gets a bit closer, but they just want all of our veterans to know about it, and they're encouraging all veterans to attend. You don't have to be a member of the DAV to be there. They want all veterans to attend. And also, the Prestonsburg VA Clinic is giving out flu shots starting at 5, an hour before that October 3rd meeting starts. If you have any questions, call 422-4983. If you have any need for our community calendar, it's always on every weeknight at 6, of course, and 11, and the perfect place to get your announcement heard and to wish someone a happy birthday or happy anniversary. I do have one funeral service announcement tonight. It comes to me by the Montgomery County Funeral Home, and it's in honor of 44-year-old Brenda Hollers Allen of Sugar Camp Road, who passed away on the 5th, the daughter of the late Lonnie Hollers and Edna Gay Miller. She's survived by her daughter, Audria Allen Bailey. I'm told that a memorial service will be announced at a later time by the Montgomery County Funeral Home. Once again, Brenda Hollers Allen, 44, of Sayersville. Yeah, the heat is definitely rolling in, ramping up tomorrow. If you have not been wanting to let go of summer just as of yet, well, this one's for you. And if you're looking for a taste of fall, I would never tell you to turn the channel. And I don't want you to cover your ears either. Just pretend, maybe, or reverse the numbers if you want. 90s are in town through the end of the week. It's not all that unusual to be a month or maybe even what feels like more than a month off in either direction weather-wise in this part of the world. And right now we're taking it back to much more like August than close to the middle of September. We're going to see the 90s for days. Tomorrow looks to be the hottest one as far as the temperature is concerned. We'll see heat indices, though, put us into the mid and upper 90s after that. But tonight, a low of 60, clear skies, nothing more than some patchy AM fog from 3 to maybe 9 tomorrow morning. And then the heat, like I say, rolls up and cranks up for tomorrow. Your Tuesday looks to be sunny and hot, topping out right around 93 degrees. Clear skies tomorrow night, and we'll fall down to about 65 for the low. But we're holding on to the 90s 4 days, a 4-day run right now. Wednesday being the 2nd. At 91, mostly sunny degrees. I'm going to leave that 10% chance of showers and storms after 5 p.m. in there for now. We'll see if it holds on as we get closer to Wednesday or increases. But right now, that's just a very slim chance of some showers and storms Wednesday evening after 5. 91 again on your Thursday, mostly sunny, mostly clear, no shower or storm chances to speak of on your Thursday. We still have the 90s, however, taking us all the way through the end of the work week, with 92 expected on your Friday. Sunny and hot, and a 20% chance of some showers or storms. And then temperatures will fall back to the upper 80s from there and stay there 4 days. We'll hold on to a 20% chance of showers for the first half of your weekend, but 88 and mostly sunny Saturday, 87 mostly sunny and dry on your Sunday. And we'll hold on to that 87 and mostly sunny outlook on your Monday as well. And then a 10% chance of showers will try to creep its way back into the forecast at the first of next week. Bottom line, it's going to be a hot one, this one. That's it. That's Monday's show, and we're just getting started. I've got a lot of things happening tomorrow, and a couple of them are certainly newsworthy and will make headlines, so we hope to see you then. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and good night, and thank you for watching.